Kohli round the MCG.
Seriously, the suspicion.
Kohli goes down the ground. Kohli goes out of the ground.
For the Cavs Grooming's Heads Up Men's Hair Paste, which also happens to be the best hair paste in this country, dig deep into the roots, scalp and the hair. Use करो screen पे दिया हुआ code ताकि आपको मिले एक special discount क्योंकि आप देखते हो हमारे ये videos. You know, I remember it was 2011 when Dhoni hit that crazy helicopter 6 and India won the One Day International World Cup. I was barely 19 years old back then, but I remember being on the streets of Churchgate and Marine Drive. Absolutely losing my mind, running around with my friends, and holy hell, it was a lit scene. Gentlemen, it was as if the entire city, the entire state, the entire country was out there on the streets, in the open, in massive numbers, celebrating the country's win. It was emotional, it was dramatic, but most importantly, it was very inspiring. And just like that, gentlemen, I also remember that time when Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar retired. Yes, I remember it quite well because that was the time, that was the beginning of my YouTube career. And gentlemen, it's been a decade. It's been a decade since we won the World Cup. It's been a decade, almost a decade since Sachin's retirement. And I haven't felt that emotion, I haven't felt that inspiration, I haven't felt that drama up until last night. But this time, however, it is not physically on the streets as much as it is there on the modern street, which is the social media, which is the internet. King Kohli is the reason, King Kohli is the talk of the town. The elite performer has outplayed his best thus far, and we all have a reason to be proud of. But hey, irrespective of him or the collective Team India's guts and glory last night, this video is a little special. Gentlemen, I think this video is fairly different than usual. You see, up until last night, I never really understood Virat Kohli. No, not as a player, but as a personality. Now, there could be multiple reasons for it, and one of it could be my sheer lack of understanding, knowledge, and awareness of personalities. To be very specific, men's personalities. But you see, as I have become a lot more objective, a lot more aware at understanding men and the personalities in line, the better it has served me as a man and as an aspiring high performer. But I would want you to watch this clip before we go any further.
मुझे एक्चुअली समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन कैसे करूं. मतलब मैं ये बोल रहा हूं कि ये सब जो हुआ है मुझे समझ ही नहीं आया कि हुआ क्या है. मतलब ये मुझे बार-बार देखना पड़ेगा बाद में.
I don't remember what happened. I need to watch it to remember. Gentlemen, this line, this statement, this observation that Kohli made about the last 4 overs of yesterday's match is the exact very reason I would want all of you, yes, all of you men watching this video, to find your own innate skill at this point in time. Because gentlemen, what happened to Virat Kohli in yesterday's match in the last 4 overs might not happen ever again. We might not see that avatar, we might not see that roop of him ever again. But what did happen to Virat Kohli in the last 4 or 6 overs is the exact reason why we as men must pursue, must endeavor, must get onto our path of finding our innate talent or skill. Because what happened to Virat Kohli in these last 4 or 6 overs is plenty a reason for him to keep going for another decade. You see, this force, this emotion, or simply put, this state of being is 100 folds more impactful, is 100 folds more intense, and it's 100 folds more empowering than the usual flow state. Yes, gentlemen, what happened to Virat Kohli in the last 4 overs yesterday was him being in the state of flow, but on steroids. Now, I have had my fair share of being in the state of flow, and I have lost track of time. I have been deeply plugged into my work or some social dynamic exercises, and I have actually lost track of myself in the given time. But holy hell, I'm 30 and I'm yet to witness a flow like that. A state that powerful, a state that intense, a state that impactful, a state that raw, that brute, and that pure empowerment. In textbook definition, if I may, the old world, at least the cricketing world, witnessed an enlightenment. Yes, especially the folks sitting in the Melbourne ground. Yes, last night they did witness a man's, a warrior's, and a king's mighty enlightenment. Tears of joy among lakhs of people, pure blissfulness, sheer happiness. Australians are dancing, drinking, and celebrating like madmen. Even Pakistanis are singing praises for this madman. And my countrymen and women are in tears of absolute joy. Gentlemen, if this does not define the meaning of enlightenment, I do not know what does. I mean, if I look back at it now, I guess I was a part of it back in 2011 outside Wankhede Stadium on Marine Drive when India won the World Cup. And now that I think of it, it could be Dhoni's enlightenment back then. I couldn't describe the aura, the smell, the blissfulness and the joy in the air back then in 2011 because I was barely 19 years old. So what do you even expect? But now that I have been in this process for a while, now that I'm 11 years older and hopefully wise, gentlemen, I couldn't help but smile at this wonderful experience that we all were collectively a part of. I mean, if you look at it, we have won plenty matches, we have won plenty World Cups, we have won plenty matches against Pakistan in these World Cups. So why did this feel like a very different win? Why did this feel like a very special win? I guess Mr. Kohli was spot on in explaining this in his own words, in his own way.
मुझे एक्चुअली समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन कैसे करूं.
You just can't explain. A few moments like these, a few experiences like these can't be explained. So there you have it. You all were a collective unit. You all were a part of a King's enlightenment pre-Diwali. But you see, the reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm even talking about this great experience that we all collectively shared is for the very honest fact that this state of being that Kohli had experienced for the last 4 overs or for the last 45 minutes last night is not that easy to gain, is not that easy to have in your life at the very first place. Yes, gentlemen, this enlightenment moment that we speak of, this does not come easy. And yes, of course, this does not come to everyone as well. So the amount of work that Virat Kohli had to put in for days, weeks, months, years, hours is absolutely unaccountable when you really have to be in this process where your body shuts off, your mind shuts off and your instincts take over. The amount of work, the amount of dedication and the amount of discipline you need to have to experience these 40 minutes of your life, which will probably help you live the rest of your life in blissfulness and happiness, is not that easy to encounter. It is not that easy to be accounted for. Yes, it is crazy to be in a state where the last 4 overs, probably the most important 4 overs, probably the most important 30-40 minutes of his life weren't his thoughts, weren't his emotions. They were just his pure instincts. No noise, no distraction, zoned in, absolute focus. You have to prepare for it. You have to bleed for it. And once you do that, once you do bleed, work and toil yourself for this particular 30 minutes of your life, and when that 30 minute does come in your life, it'll just be absolute blissfulness. It'll just be all in autopilot. And by making this video, I just want 2 very basic things for all of us mighty men. 1, be a part of this process. Be a part of more of such experiences, because the more we are part of these experiences, the happier and more content and more fulfilled we feel. And 2, this is probably the most difficult part, but still 2, if not the enlightenment phase, if not this 30 minutes of our life phase, we all must strive to at least be in our zone, to at least channel our inner genius, to at least toil, work hard and craft our innate skill that we have been sent in this mighty world for. Now we cannot be the next Dhoni, Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, but we can be our very first, our very best self. And the only reason, the only way we can actually experience our own zoned in, our own enlightenment per se, as a karma yogi would get it ever in his life, is by putting your heart in what you do and doing it absolutely ballistically. If you can go in like Kohli does, like Dhoni did, and like every other great athlete, every other great successful human being has ever done, then that is one particular thing which will probably be the takeaway of today's video. I mean, if you look at it, Virat Kohli didn't play cricket for money. Dhoni didn't play cricket only for money or fame. That came with it because they were supremely good at it. If you really want the money and the fame, I would much rather have you focus and zone in on that innate skill, that innate talent that you have, which you can actually be the Dhoni or the Kohli of. And gentlemen, one thing that can help you do that, one thing that can help you empower yourself and put yourself in that place where you're confident enough to chase your inner genius is your image, your grooming and your absolute pure confidence. Because gentlemen, if you look good, if you feel strong, if you feel nice about yourself, chances of you chasing your dreams are a lot more higher. For that very reason, I have made a couple of brands, I have made a few fantastic products for you. Calves Grooming, Heads Up, probably the best hairpiece in this country, and TMB Basics, the shirt and the jacket, all to empower you, all to make you more confident so that you can go out and chase that inner genius. You can go out and become the Dhoni and Kohli yourself. I hope this video helps. I hope this video was well worth your time. In case you did, don't forget to click that like button, share the video with someone who is interested in finding their inner genius, and for more of these videos, subscribe to the channel. We'll probably see you next week with a brand new video on the channel. Jai Hind, gentlemen. Dress up, stay strong, stay stylish. See you in the next one.